Cindy Lesher, former CEO of NSP, an Xcel energy company, retired a few years ago, and I'm thrilled to be here. I was delighted to be asked. I was invited, I think when we did the first conference, which was near Chicago in Evanston, I believe, 4 years ago. Anyway, it's been a joy to watch this develop and grow, and I'd like to compliment MEA, obviously, on the good job that they do bringing together women in this kind of format. I'm really proud to be the moderator here. Did somebody applaud? That's okay. Let's applaud MEA. Let's go. We have a distinguished panel of wonderful leaders in the utility industry with us today. We're going to hear from Annette Gardiner, President of New Mexico Gas Company, from Judy Poferl, President and CEO of Northern States Power Company and Xcel Energy Company, it's a little that I know about. And Anne, I hope I don't butcher this, Pramaggiore, say it. Pramaggiore. I told her it's a beautiful name, but I'll be damned if I can say it. She's President and CEO of Commonwealth Edison. So our questions. I'm going to ask the panel and ask for their response. And then several of you have said, boy, be sure and allow time at the end for Q&A. So we plan to do that. So we should move along and honor our hour commitment here. Before I start, I'd just like to say there's always in framing this up, there's always the age-old debate is, do we need a secular event? Focusing on women in the utility industry. And I vacillate on how I feel about that. In fact, depending on what I'm doing and if I'm drinking wine or not, I go the whole course from no, we don't, yes, we do. And kind of where I'm weighing in right now is I think the answer is yes, but it's changing. And I think that will change when we have more fabulous women like yourselves in the leadership positions, and then there won't be a need for secularism anymore. So that's a personal editorial comment, and with that, I'm going to start by asking each panel member if they would give us a brief snapshot so you get an idea of who they are, of their career, and kind of how they got to where they are today. And I'm going to start with my friend to my right, Judy.
All right, thank you, Cindy. Thanks so much, everyone.
Can you hear that? Is she on?
Is that better? Oh. Usually sound is not an issue for me, so I carry. If you want to, those in the back want to say, keep it down, you can signal me that as we go. Thanks so much for having me, and delighted to welcome you here to Minneapolis. Sorry it's such a rainy day. I hope you get a chance while you're here to explore some of it and see it, because it's a terrific place to live and work. So we're delighted to host you here today. With respect to my background, I am one of those people who, the most dreaded question on a job interview would be that age-old one of what do you want to do or where do you want to be in 5 years? I did not know the answer to that. I thought that was a trick question, actually. I was actually suspicious of people who thought they knew the answer to that question because some of them wanted my job. And it always seemed to me that you really stood a good chance of being disappointed if you defined yourself as just a job that you wanted to have in 5 years. So I always struggled with that. And so my career path, I think, kind of reflects that, because what happened is I stepped into a role, I liked it, I did well at it, and the career path unfolded. I was a liberal arts government major. Who happened to end up as a CEO of a utility, if you can believe that. I have my master's degree in public affairs, and I spent half of my career in the public sector working for the regulatory agencies over utilities. And that was absolutely a fabulous training ground for what I do, because I got exposed to basically every issue a utility can ever be exposed to. I got to learn at least a little about it. I got to be very public out front in advocacy and learn how to put cases together and to be successful in that. And I had some great opportunities to appear in a whole bunch of different forums, from the legislature to state agencies to the public, what have you. And so managing complex issues was really what I got to do in that venue. And it was just a terrific opportunity. I can't say enough about the value of having put in public service. And then when I stepped over into the private sector, it was kind of more the same. I kept in the government regulatory area, and any of you who are in that area know that every problem the utility faces makes a stop in regulatory. It just does. So you again got exposed to a number of different things, and as it was, the career path then just unfolded. I did do some work in customer and community before I stepped into this role. This is my real first role in operations, and that's been an interesting learning. So my career path was not a planned journey, and yet this is just where I am now. So,
good. Thank you, Judy. Thanks very much. Anne.
Good morning. I'm delighted to be here, and this is a great group, and it's lovely looking out onto this group, as I think Cindy indicated earlier. Interestingly, my career path is, my story is similar to Judy's in that it is not a direct line. I don't really believe in direct lines. I think you miss too much if you plan too rigidly. Although there's I think a purpose to planning. It forces you to think forward and think about what you want to do and where you want to be. But I think you have to also keep your peripheral vision very wide open to opportunities that may be coming in collaterally into your career path. I started out as a theater major in college. Left, yeah, I know, okay, get it out. I then worked in retail for 6 years, and I was a fashion buyer, and actually, among other things, bought women's swimwear, a horrifying experience, I might say. It did not help the self-esteem every time you went into a showroom, all the models walking through with the latest swimwear. Did that for a few years and had to get out. Went to law school, practiced antitrust law with a law firm for 8 years, and then got a call to come into ComEd at the time they were passing the deregulation law in Illinois. They were looking for lawyers with competition law background. So I made the move into ComEd. All of these are somewhat leaps, but I think the leap into ComEd was perhaps the biggest because I was a partner in a law firm and sort of took a bit of a step back to go into ComEd, but I thought it was a really great opportunity to learn this business and watch the last fully regulated business go through deregulation, and I thought it would be just a great experience. So moved into ComEd, like Judy, worked in the legal department, and then in regulatory, spent a lot of years in regulatory, and you do see a lot of the business, and then through different parts of the business, and now manage the whole range. So I very much.
You lost your sound here.
Is that better?
No? There you go.
Okay. Is that,
nope.
No?
That's funny. Is that picking you up?
All right, we'll try this one. Well, they probably just cut me off, so that means my time's up? Okay. I can take a hint. But I guess I just wanted to make 2 points and then I'll finish. One is, as I said before. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it does.
Is this mic? No, you've lost us all. We have a sound issue. Mine's working, yes?
Now, what did Julie tell us about this morning? Getting our voices heard. Yeah. All right, 2 points as I finish up. One is, look for opportunity. If you look too rigidly at a path, you're going to miss opportunities to expand your horizons, and I think that's really important. The second point I would make is, and this I think echoes something that was in Julie's statements this morning, and that is, I think we as women think that movement forward is dependent on how hard we work, getting very, very good at a technical skill. That's the starting point. What we have to also keep our eyes on is relationship building, how you manage through an organization, and that's all people and relationship skills. So, as you're thinking about your career, you want to blend those skill sets in as well. So, I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And just for the record, I didn't touch anything and I didn't do it because usually if there's a technical problem, I'm the problem. I had Geek Squad tell me once just to sit down and be quiet. Annette.
Yeah. Clearly the microphone is not working. But as my husband always used to say, we don't need a phone in the house to call 911. You could call the police from the bedroom window.
Good.
So I don't need a microphone. But it is a real pleasure, echoing what's already been said, to look over, and a very rare pleasure, to look over a room full of so many accomplished women. So it is a pleasure and an honor to be here. Thank you. My career history is a little different, and I've also been one of those ridiculous people with a 5-year plan. So I think we're going to have different viewpoints, which is great, because everybody's path is not the same. And that kind of diversity of how you move through your career is important to note, that there are lots of different ways to achieve success. I started out my education, I'm a civil engineer, and then I worked for a couple of years on Enrico Fermi 2 nuclear power plant. Then I stayed home with my son for 4 years, and we'll get into that in a life choices question later on and how that impacted my career. Later, I became a transmission engineer for Mishcon. Then I moved to Semco Energy and worked into supervisor, manager, director of engineering, and then broadened my responsibilities, gas control, gas supply, et cetera, a lot of the technical functions, training, et cetera, et cetera. And then became the vice president of technical services, again, broadening a little further. Then I earned my MBA, and our president at the time, I think that just kicked back in. Our president at the time was retiring, and he had handled our regulatory affairs. And so after I had earned my MBA, they're like, you want to do something additional? And so then I became the oddly named vice president of technical services and rates and regulatory affairs. And so I worked in regulatory affairs for 5 years, and then had the opportunity to be the vice president of Michigan operations for our company. At that point, I had been a vice president for about 7 years and worked in a variety of different areas. And I was fortunate and blessed with the opportunity to move to New Mexico as we purchased P&M's gas assets and stand up New Mexico Gas Company. And I've been the president out there for just about 3 years now. So that's my career in a nutshell.
Great, thank you, Annette. That's a good segue into the next question I'm going to ask the panelists to address.